So I am standing in what is the coolest amphibian man cave garage herp room that you guys have ever seen. This is Troy Goldberg's Tropical Garage here in Youngstown, Ohio. I am going to give you guys a tour of the coolest frog room I have ever been in. We're gonna meet Troy. He's gonna show off these frogs. It is gonna be not a reptile adventure this time, but a really cool amphibian adventure. I'm Dāv Kaufman, and these are my reptile adventures.
At Rainbow Mealworms, we grow all our insects 100% naturally so that you get the freshest, most lively feeders on the market. So for all your reptile food needs, place your order today at rainbowmealworms.net.
All right, so this is Troy. This is your garage. You know, when we first started talking about me coming over here to make this video, you know, I watch a lot of your YouTube channel. You just really don't get a feel from, you know, watching YouTube channels to actually standing here. But we're going to try our best to show everybody how amazingly awesome this place is that you built in your garage. So how did this all come about?
Well, I mean, I've been keeping dart frogs for 20 plus years and had a really small collection at first, and then I had about half of this size in my little spare bedroom, and then I had a son, so I had to move everything out to the garage. And when I did do that, I realized I have a ton more room, a ton more space, so I decided to expand. And yeah, this is the result.
This is fantastic. All right, so we have all these enclosures over here. This really is the coolest reptile garage I've ever been in. Let's just start a little show and tell.
Yeah.
So you designed all of these enclosures.
Yeah, so from even the enclosure themselves, like these, I actually build the glass tank itself.
Oh, you actually build the
yeah,
enclosure
the
itself and then design them. Oh,
these are all custom built and made it more towards my actual conditions, because, you know, everyone talks like, how big should I make my vent for the door, or the vent up top? Like, it's all about how the humidity, the ambient humidity in your room, the ambient temperature in your room. So it's like everybody's can be different. So I made these specifically for my
okay, so that is really cool. I knew that you designed the enclosures, but that you actually built the enclosures, that I didn't know.
But yeah, I've been doing, you know, the backgrounds and trying to, you know, I have a background in art, so that's what I majored in, was painting and ceramics. So
nice.
I have a background with design and stuff like that. So yeah, I just, ever since I got in the hobby, I was really interested in making the enclosures look cool. I wouldn't even say they look like super natural, because it's like, if you go to the jungle, it's not going to look like this.
Right.
They're basically like miniature little jungle things that I try to create.
Well, that's what makes it cool, is that, you know,
make it enjoyable to look at and have your, you know, some tanks you look at, it's all preference too. I mean, some people have tanks where there's just tons of plants and you can't really see anything. It's just a bunch of plants, and that may even actually look more natural. That's how it look in the jungle, but to me, it's not. The aesthetic's not there for enjoying the hobby. You know, I want to display the frogs, also display the plants. And I try to design the backgrounds and everything with the hardscape to kind of have your eye travel around and just find new little nooks and crannies in the tank that are interesting to look at. That's the Oophaga histrionica anchikaya. That's one of my favorite dart frogs there. They're just, as you can see, they're clearly pretty bold.
All right, so I see these little deli cups in there with substrate. What is that all about?
So that's actually calcium-bearing clay, and, you know, these frogs, since they are, you know, they're feeding their tadpoles. That's Oophaga means egg feeder,
right?
And so the tadpoles only eat their eggs. So females are constantly producing eggs to feed, and it can be pretty stressful and kind of suck all the nutrients out of the frog. So the clay has some nutrients and stuff that the frogs will actually go sit in, and they have a pelvic patch where they can soak up and absorb nutrients from calcium, because that's usually the biggest issue with dart frogs is calcium deficiency.
Absolutely.
So that's another way for them. You know, I do dust their food with calcium daily, but that's also another way for them to get some other nutrients in
That's
them.
actually really cool. Now, are you finding that they're laying their eggs in the bromeliads like they are in the wild?
So they actually lay the eggs typically in these little cups here. These are I call them what do I call them? Histrionic cups.
Okay.
They're just like a film can, but they're bigger,
Right.
and that's normally where they lay the eggs, and then they transport the eggs to the bromeliads, and that's where they're raised. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I just set them in there, and so yeah, they'll just right in these little water. These are like mini nurseries.
Just like they are in the wild,
Yep. So they lay the tadpoles, they transport to there, and then for about 8 weeks, the female, she regularly visits the bromeliad pod and drops off some infertile eggs, and the tadpole eats and develops. These are the Oophaga histrionica Bahia Solano. That's just, and like the Anchicaya and the Bahia Solano, that's the locale. Those are some striking frogs. Before Tesoro started bringing in frogs, those frogs are like a needle in a haystack in the country. I mean, there was, if someone had them, they were from the early 90s, stuff like that.
Wow.
So it's, they were extremely rare.
So as we walk around your tropical garage here,
Yep.
you know, the thing that I love about it is that it sounds like Costa Rica at night.
Yeah.
I mean,
Calls
all
all over
the
the place.
sounds and that's, man, do you just sit out here for hours and just listen and watch and...
Yeah, my girlfriend doesn't, I don't get to come out here much in the day when all this is going on. I'm helping, either I'm working or I'm helping with, with our son. But when he goes to bed around 9 o'clock, I come out here, and I'm usually out here until 3 a.m. So
there you go.
Yeah, if I could, yeah, I'd be out here all day doing stuff. I mean, if I go through the tank, I mean, I'll find eggs in almost every single tank. I don't breed on a massive scale. That's not why I'm in the hobby. This is something I've always just loved, and I enjoy keeping them as pets. Now I do breed them and do make some money off them, but it's not the main goal here. So, there's tons of tanks that I just don't pull eggs from, with the larger, the dendrobatids, tinctorius and stuff like that. But the Oophaga, they do their own thing and they raise as many as they want. So that's the Oophaga genus, if you know what you're doing and you've got your hands into some dart frogs before and you're keeping them experienced, Oophaga are great for people that want to keep them as pets, do a little breeding, but don't want to be stuck with a ton of baby frogs. They only, a pair of Oophaga on a good year is like 12 to 15 frogs. Where the tinctorius, you can have 150 to 200 frogs in a year. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So you're in control of the tadpoles and all that. So that's why I think Oophaga are great for someone that just wants to do some keeping, do some breeding, a little bit, and they do their own thing. It's really cool, and that's really what you've got to have the tank set up right for them. Yeah, those are really cool. Those are called Tado histrionica. Really interesting. Yeah, they're really neat frog. There's some eggs I could show you on there.
So now, why do you put those on their side instead of vertically?
Because they'll fill with water. You don't want them to fill with water. You want them just to be damp or wet. And it's just, if I put them vertically, then the frogs, they wouldn't fit in there. So when it's long ways like that, they have room to actually lay the eggs, and the male has room to fertilize them too.
Good to know. All right, so this enclosure down here is super cool. I love these big leafed plants there.
Yep.
I am not a horticulturist. I have no idea what those are called.
Those
Do you?
Anthurium crystallinum.
That's what I was going to say. Right, yeah.
That's the really big one.
Yeah.
And that's houses the Phyllobates mint terribilis.
And look at that guy down there.
Those are one of the most toxic animals in the world. So in captivity, they don't have any harm, but in the wild, if you lick that thing, you are a goner.
You are a goner.
Yes. Well, there's a theory that, terribilis will eat larger prey, much larger prey than the rest of the dart frogs. So the theory is that in the wild, there's some larger prey item that they're eating that's giving them their toxin, where the other dart frogs are eating much smaller prey in the wild, and they just don't have that chemical makeup.
Right. So most dart frogs are eating ants. They're synthesizing the formic acid in ants to make that toxin. Kind of makes you wonder what these guys down here are eating.
Yeah, I mean, like, you'll see, like, the size crickets here that these guys will eat, compared, like, other dart frogs won't even look at them.
Right, that's too big for another dart frog.
There's times you don't, there's crickets in there sometimes I put in that are so big that I don't think they'll actually eat them, and they'll shove them in their, you'll see them use their hands and they shove them down their throats. These guys also have larger clutches of eggs. You know, most dart frogs lay anywhere from 4 to 12 eggs, I'd say, on average. And the terribilis will lay, you know, 24 to 30 eggs.
Gotcha.
So they do require a little bit more vitamin A. They're super, I mean, like, they're not the most variable frog as far as patterns, but as you can see there, all of them have they're a different color. You know, some have a much more whitish, you know, color. Some have that, you know, that mint green.
Sure.
Some have little spots of, like, yellow peeking through, and they're just a very unique frog. And you know, the terribilis, they're known, you know, their common color forms are mint, orange, and yellow or golden.
Sure.
And I do love the oranges. They're possibly my favorite terribilis, but I have so many orange frogs and so many yellow frogs. I have no mint ones, so that's what...
You got to have the mint ones.
Yeah, that was the deciding factor
and I wonder
for
if
me.
they taste minty. Like out in the wild, you know, I mean... If they're gonna kill you by licking these out in the wild, at least maybe they should have a minty taste.
It's possible they might.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just very cool animals, extremely bold. They do have a loud call, which can, you know, in my situation out in the garage, I love the loud call.
Yeah, sure.
If it's in my bedroom and I'm trying to sleep, and
there you go.
It may get a little annoying, but I really love the call. They're just so different. Well, even like when if I hold one, put gloves on and grab it, they just feel like almost like when you grab a bullfrog, like how muscular their legs and everything are.
Right.
The other dart frogs are not like that. They're different.
So that is kind of a sample of what Troy has here, but you walk across here, look at this, you got the couch set up, you can just sit out here and chill with these guys.
That's exactly right.
This is so awesome. This is
My little
so
man
awesome.
Cave. Thanks.
Yeah, this is a frog man cave. I mean, that's the best way to put it.
Yep.
You know, you had to trade in your car to, you know, give out the garage, but you know, some sacrifices need to be made for our hobby, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so this is like the showstopper right here.
Yeah.
What do we got in there? I mean, look at how like amazingly designed this is.
Yep. So that is a red frog beach Ufaga Pamilio bastimentos. So this is it's not my breeder tank. This is a display tank for display purposes only. I do have some breeding going on in here with my glass frogs. So it's a cohab tank.
Cohab tank, right?
So I've got I have 10 Atelopus balios, which are the harlequin toads.
Yep.
And then I have 4 red frog beach bastimentos, and I have 5 Halanobatrachium valerii. And the valerii eggs, which I didn't even know they were
they're
breeding.
pretty prolific, those valerii.
Yeah, so they're right there.
Look at that.
Yep. There's the male on guard.
Yeah. I just saw these over at Mike Novi's in a previous video.
That's who these are from.
Yep. And yeah, these are cool. But look at this. So you've got this whole reservoir, and you built this one, right?
Correct. Yeah, I built the tank. I'll show you a really cool feature with it.
Yeah.
Wish the glass was cleaner, but
well,
I'll show you something that's pretty sweet. So this tank, I have every tank set up on a misting system, and you see there's the misting lines there.
Yep.
But I do have, I've always been a fan of rain chambers.
I
love the raining, but so I created a rain chamber here, and it's very discreet. It doesn't look like your typical rain chamber. So all these lines here, these actually rain. It's just suction cup, Mist King lines, and then I poked holes with a thumbtack, but you'll see here.
And then you got the VIX reservoir up there.
sampling that, but you see it looks like it's actually raining. So I have that set up, and it cycles the water down from my sump. So I have all this water in the bottom is filtering down to the sump at the bottom. The pumps are actually in the clean water area, and they shoot, you know, the rainwater all the way up top.
All the way to the VIX.
Yeah, so the VIX, I've been sampling that. I'm not sure if I'm going to set it up on here yet. I've just been doing some tests to see where I want to drill the hole to have some fog. But yeah,
that's pretty ingenious, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you control it right from your phone.
Yeah, it's just a little app on my phone. I have like all these little smart plugs, and I can set them on timers if I want, or I can just right now.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so you have a nice even flow of rain.
Yep.
It's not mist; it's actual rain, and that's the difference.
And so it does mist as well. So that line is that's just for the rain chamber. This is the rain chamber here, and then these are my mist lines. When I don't feel like having it on the rain chamber, if I don't want anything to really get breeding, then I just have it mist. So this is all the water area I have hooked up with a, because the Atelopus, they're like a stream, they like to hang out by streams. So I do have a little power head here that, you know, just pushes water. It can go super high, and I just keep it low just to keep some movement going. A normal little stream.
Yep.
But yeah, the water from here all drains down into the sump, and then it filters back, and so it's got a nice little system. You know, I don't have to do any maintenance really. Once in a while I'll do a water change, like every 2 months maybe, but that's really about it. So it's a big cohab tank, which I normally don't recommend that to people, and they're just like, especially beginners starting out.
Sure.
But you know, I've got four species in this tank that will not interbreed, so I'm not worried about anything like that. The nighttime, daytime, and where the frogs hang out, they're all pretty much, they've got their own little territories and their own areas that they go to, and I've seen zero aggression so far. Yeah, this is 300 gallons. It's 5 foot wide, 2 feet deep, and 4 feet tall.
Yep.
So it's a good sized tank, and it hasn't been set up very long. I think I've finished it in late May, so it's just a few months.
Oh, so it's recent.
It's pretty recent, yeah. I just set this one up. I am planning another one the same size to go here.
And you'll have that on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I plan on I plan on putting
orange.
See
that? I can see it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be posting that one.
Because let's face it, I don't get to Youngstown, Ohio very often.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's not the coolest area, but it's a place.
It's a place.
Yeah.
We'll call it.
Yeah,
that should be Youngstown, Ohio's new slogan. It's a place.
It's a place.
Come to Youngstown, Ohio.
Yep.
It's a place.
I love it.
We got to trademark that fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Troy, well, thank you so much for having me over.
Absolutely.
Guys, this room is as incredible as I said at the beginning of this video. It really is. And that Troy has not only designed these enclosures, but built the enclosures. I'm going to put all of Troy's links to his YouTube channel in the description below. Go check him out. He shows off much more about this really amazing room than I could in this one video. So anyway, guys, I just want to give a real quick shout out and thank you to all my Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, that link is down in the description. Check it out. And guys, as always, thanks for watching. And until the next reptile adventure, love the planet, feed your reptile obsession, and rattle on.